Welcome to Silicon Valley Impact, where business insight meets startup innovation. Brought to you live from Silicon Valley, California. Please give a warm welcome to your host, Mr. Brian Sparks.
Let that sink into your soul. Welcome to the show. And Brian, you have not missed a beat.
It's been a couple weeks. I thought I might have.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had it in there. I didn't know I had it in there, but whatever.
I knew you did.
I'm a professional, Brian. I show up, I'm prepared.
You are. And,
Yeah.
And I've seen you on Instagram in your cool suit, doing your
my
galas.
tuxedo from the other night. Yeah, I emceed the something Stars of Los Gatos, the awards ceremony for the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
So I got to be the MC over there, and I did dress for success for that event.
I would love to see the suit on the show.
I have a few things. I was telling people, they're like, why do you own that? And I was like, I've had a sordid past, and that has left me with some pretty cool outfits.
Yeah, we'd like to see it in here sometime. But how have you been?
Oh, one day, you want to do a formal show one day?
We should.
Both of us?
A formal tops?
Black tie?
Formal tops, shorts, or just all out formal?
I'd go all out. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'd kind of go all out.
Yeah, would you guys show up in a formal show?
Do it.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Okay, I think we're onto something. We get people then to subscribe to the show. So tell them, Brian, if they subscribe to the show by hitting that like and subscription, they could see us in those outfits.
That's right. If you're listening only, you should also maybe go to YouTube, right, and check in there. If you're listening, of course, you can hit the follow button. But if you're on YouTube, you can hit the subscribe and like button, and you can tell your friends. You can share this out. Like there's a share button.
Yeah.
And you can send it to the people that you think want to hear this information and who would also be entertained by listening to such wonderful people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
good.
I know.
That's good. So
So it's been a couple weeks. We were dark for a couple weeks.
We were dark.
Is there anything that you have that you need to
catch
share
the
with
world
the
up
audience?
on? Well, I just got back from Vegas. We did the Transform 2026, which was phenomenal. And for those of you who don't know really what that is, if you go to transform.us, you can get some insights into talent, HR, leadership. They also got a big startup ecosystem and an investor track. But that is a global community and a year-round event going on. But of course, the culmination is at Vegas every March, and that was phenomenal. So I got
how many people were there in Vegas?
I think there was about 5,000 people.
Oh,
yeah, and took the stage. Had a great conversation with a good buddy of mine, Angel. We talked about transitions. He's going to be on the show in the future, but he's worked with leaderships and organizations all over the world to help make transitions for people who may be coming in, leaving the company, organizational change. He's done that, so he talks a lot about and has been working a lot with people in transition, but he is going through a big transition in his life. He's battling stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Oh.
And so he is talking about what he's learned all his life, how it applies now, having a strong community around him. And he really stepped up, and I had a great conversation with him.
Wow,
So,
that's amazing.
yeah, he'll be on the show in the future. But that was a great conversation and great event. And of course, we also got the IIT 2026 coming up. You can learn more about that speaker series. It's not a speaker series, but that great lineup at IIT2026.org. It's getting close. Guy Kawasaki is going to be there. Looking forward to chatting with him and a lot of other incredible people. And speaking of incredible people, Brian.
Yes, go ahead. I'm listening.
We have 3 incredible people here today.
That's right. Nice segue, dude.
Before we get to that, even better, I have to talk to all the wonderful people out there in Silicon Valley land and the world over and give them a big welcome to Silicon Valley Impact. I'm your host, Brian Sparks. That over there on the mic and the camera and the controls is the good man, Brian Bernasconi.
Hey, everybody.
The purpose of the show is to have honest conversations about what it takes to build great businesses and communities so that you can make an impact within your own. There's nothing like that moment.
Indeed, I know. It's the thing I look forward to most every week in my life.
I like the
which
scream
is telling.
at the beginning.
Oh yeah. That's also good. It's good for the deep breathing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, instead of these whatever you're eating, these neurogums, maybe you just scream your own name from time to time. You just walk around, Brian Sparks.
The coffee and the neurogum will do that. All right.
All right.
Enough of the shenanigans.
I know. I can see our guests here staring at me like I've gone around the bend.
Okay. All right. Well, I definitely want to bring in three amazing people, and of course, in true Silicon Valley impact fashion, I know two bios, so I'll let them introduce themselves, and you will get to know why they're here, why they're my friends. But Eugene, I'll start with you and let you kick off the intros.
Sure, I'm glad to be here. First of all, you guys are totally in sync. It's kind of amazing. The two Brians are like syncing. And
it's in the name.
It's really crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
We've been here a while. We've been doing this for a few minutes.
Yeah. So I'm Eugene Malobrodsky. I'm general partner at VMware Ventures. We're an early stage fund that invests in companies that have been founded by immigrant founders to US. We invest as early as pre-seed and seed, and we lead and co-lead rounds in applied AI, physical AI, fintech, and deep tech, and help those founders kind of get further ahead. And in addition to that, we have started last year a conference called One Way Summit, which is more about the community and really about bringing spotlight on immigrant entrepreneurship in the U.S. It's a One-Way Summit was last year in December, and this year it's going to be end of October, which is going to be quite exciting.
Yeah, I'm pumped about that. You and I talked a lot about that the other day, and so super excited to learn more about that. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your intro.
Yeah, and then prior to that, I was a founder for many years, created a company called Anchorfree, was a product called Hotspot Shield, which was the first company that created a category of consumer VPNs. That was a long journey of 15 years. We had like over 700 million people when I left that used our products all over the world. It was quite amazing experience that taught a lot. There was obviously ups and downs, but in the end, it worked all out.
Well, great. We'll definitely dive into that and that roller coaster with the ups and downs.
Yeah.
I love geeking out about go-to-market, so I'm really curious how you reach so many over the period of time. So we'll definitely talk about that. But welcome to the show. Thanks for coming, man.
Glad to be here.
All right. And we're also you and I are going to be talking, well, this will be airing 1 week later. You and I talked last week, possibly at the Startup Grind event. So looking forward to that. Anna, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. My name is Anna Kovaleva. I'm a product leader, product manager, builder. For the past several years, I've been working on identity, security, AI, Gen AI, and agentic AI in companies like VMware and most recently at Omnissa, backed by KKR. My background is a mix of strategy consulting and product. I started at Bain and then Boston Consulting Group, working on sort of big scale tech transformation projects, and then moved to product after I did my MBA and master's in sustainability at Stanford School of Business. That's how I pivoted to product management. I'm originally from Russia, was born in the USSR. And right now I'm sort of focusing and working on how to build agentic AI systems that work, that are reliable, that are secure by design, that add value, how to evaluate those systems. And also as a product leader, I'm thinking a lot how in this sort of era of changes, what will happen with product management when software will be built on its own. So how do product managers change? That's what keeps me up at night.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Okay, that's what I love that question. What keeps you up at night? And so we're definitely going to come back to that. And I know, Eugene, you have a little experience in this as well. So we are going to definitely geek out on agentic stuff as we kind of figure out where you all have your sweet spots. So we'll talk about that. But overall, I need to be educated. So you're all here, truthfully, for me. So we're going to learn a lot.
They're here for me too, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian, we got to learn a lot about this.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I mean, we have, in just a month, as I said earlier, we have fallen way behind. So.
Oh, we got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, so these three are going to.
Oh, good. I wasn't aware that I should be anxious, but thank you for reminding me.
Click that pen and be ready with your notes. Yeah. All right. Irina, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Brian. So hello, everyone. My name is Irina Tagintseva. And I've been in Silicon Valley now for 20 years, originally from Kazakhstan and was born in the USSR as well. And ever since I was a child, I wanted to be an actress, actually. So I dreamed of Hollywood. That was my big dream. I was obsessed with all things acting. And I started acting when I was 6. And then, but I was always also a very good student. So I came to California because I wanted to be an actress in Hollywood. It was my big dream. And I had no idea back then that I was going to end up in Silicon Valley. That I was going to get into UC Berkeley, which is where I went to, Haas School of Business, and then make my way in Silicon Valley. And I graduated back in 2009. And it was really the most horrible year to graduate. And I just set my sights on Silicon Valley, and I got into a startup which was headed by Tristan Harris, who is now the main advocate for AI safety. He, is the person who is the main voice of Silicon Valley. He's the conscience of Silicon Valley, and he's the person I worked with straight out of college, and it was pretty incredible experience. And then since then, I've worked at corporations, mid-stage companies, primarily working on partnerships, product, and platform engineering. So I then converted and became an engineer, and I worked on very large Gen AI platforms, and I was most recently at Apple.
Nice. And so you went from actress to Apple, from acting to engineering. That's a heck of a journey.
That's a heck of a journey.
Yeah, I like that.
I needed to start.
but what I like about that, and Eugene, this is what you and I are going to be talking about at Startup Grind, but a lot of this is going on in terms my favorite guests are immigrants. And the reason why that is because they teach us so much about resilience, resourcefulness, and the capacity to build in a place they weren't born. And that to me is fascinating. For someone who is born and raised in San Jose, I kind of just take this for granted at times. And I think if you're from here, you take a lot for granted at times. And then when you hear the story of immigrants and what it takes to establish themselves here, to me, it's fascinating. And here's where we're going with this. So if you're listening out there and you're in the startup scene, or you're in if you're a builder, I believe we're all going to be immigrants at some time, because if you're going to be doing, business globally, you're going to have to travel yourself. So it's stories like these that you need to listen to and lean into, because you're going to have to take from their blue book of success in order to go somewhere else other than possibly the States. And that's just my perspective from a global economy. You're going to have to get to know different parts of the world, and these are the stories that will help you prepare for that. That's just a little rant, but I want to thank you all for being here.
You just blew my mind.
Oh, thank you, Brian.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
Yeah,
thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah,
thanks for saying this.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll have more to talk about in terms of your journey, but I want to jump into a few things that you all talked about. You're all familiar with. Well, let me back up a little bit. What was the moment that you thought you wanted to be in this sandbox, that you wanted to be in the startup world, and you wanted to be in corporate? What was that moment where you said, I want to go be a builder, I want to be part of Silicon Valley, I want to be part of the innovation? What was that moment for you? And did you have it in your background? Eugene, I'll start with you.
Sure.
What was kind of your background that led you down this path? And I'll ask all of you the same question.
I think since I was a child, I was not an easy kid. That's why I'm the only child, I guess. But I think the whole idea of conformity and being told what to do was never like my thing. Mm-hmm. So when I started my career, when I moved to US from Lithuania when I was 13, and started my career in technology at 15, and kind of going through it and just learning from experience, I was like, okay, like I really don't like people telling me like that I need to do things a certain way. So what do you end up? You either go kind of against everyone and get let go, or you just start your own and then you tell people what to do. Mm-hmm. So, and that was kind of my journey. Started my first one at 21 and second one at 23. So
you had a mentality of stress testing the world around you.
I mean, my first entrepreneurship kind of experience was when I was 10.
Did you say entrepreneurship or intrapreneurship?
I don't know. That one is complicated to answer.
Yeah. Because I think there is an opportunity in entrepreneurship. Like if you're in a big organization and you see something that's not working, you can appropriately disrupt a little bit from within the walls of corporate America. And I mean, if I have a daughter, I have a couple daughters, but I have a daughter right now that's stress testing dad's way, right? In every possible way. So she's definitely got the entrepreneurship, like, well, Dad, you said do it this way, but what if we did it this way? And so she challenged. So that's kind of the entrepreneur example, as opposed to, well, here's the open space. I can just create out here and it's all mine. But you can create within, you can also create without. So that's why I kind of asked that question. But Anna, I'll pivot to you the same way and we'll start weaving these stories together. What was your moment where you go, okay, I'm going to start challenging status quo as well?
Right. I think the biggest moments were at Stanford. Mm-hmm. I came here to study at Stanford as a business student and then a master's in sustainability. And before that, I was in strategy consulting doing like really interesting projects. And I'm a nerd. I'm a good person who can do a lot of things for projects like financial models and stuff like this. Investigations, research. And then at Stanford, I met incredible people. And I think overall, like stepping back, it's Silicon Valley, it's California, where you meet incredible people who do stuff really at a very high pace, test hypotheses, start businesses, don't see the roof, don't see like sky's the limit. And I realized that what my clients wanted, they wanted implementation. They wanted like things to be done, not only the research to be done, the finance, the projects, but to do stuff, to earn more money or to implement technologies. And I got into a couple of startups here when I was here, and then I pivoted to product management because that's where the strategy and the implementation of new technologies overlapped, and I felt that I can do so much more. And that's what I've been doing for the last decade.
When you say that's the intersection, right? Yeah. Is that where you say to yourself, okay, here we have a cool product here, and then the other side of the fence is, strategy of going to market, but you really get to think of how is this going to make an impact? I mean, no pun intended with the show or anything, but is that where you start?
That's where I start. I actually start sometimes at a whiteboard with teams that I'm working with. And I'm very happy to work with talented engineers, go-to-market people, data scientists, and we really like invent stuff. Sometimes it's a project that we like, let's take pizzas and stay here for like 2 weeks and like really do the architecture first of what we want to accomplish. That was a startup where we reinvented the matching for a marketplace, a services marketplace. And that's the moments where I really see the path to work with people on something new.
And it's really a creative space. And that's really where the fun part is. So I love that. So Irina, same question. What was that moment in your life where you said, all right, nope, Silicon Valley or bust, I want to build? Where was that for you?
I think I have a very strange story because like I said, I've never dreamt of Silicon Valley as my dream career path. I wanted to be a Hollywood actress. That was my big dream. But when I vividly remember when I was 14, I grabbed a newspaper and there was an article about not even Silicon Valley actually, because it was about Microsoft and like the creation of Microsoft and how it grew so large because they essentially built software for all these hardware companies, and their specialty was not software. And I just remember being really engrossed in that article and reading and just being really fascinated by it. And so that kind of seeded this like technology as kind of like a side interest of mine in my head. Both my parents are engineers. My mom was one of like 3 women in her computer science program back in the 80s. So that's also kind of a side story. So I grew up with that being my kind of norm. Both my parents are very successful engineers. And so I wanted to do something completely different. But when I came here, I also realized I kind of like this world is and I landed in Santa Monica, and I realized I was not very comfortable with the idea of just making money off of my looks and not the way I think, I guess. And so I just really, and I was always good at getting A's and just being, a really great student. And so I just kind of kept doing that, except in English now.
Yeah.
And
so the seeds were slowly planted. You were born into it. You had the mom who was trailblazing in the class. Dad was strategic in his thinking. So you were like, you had this full circle moment where, hey, I think the best pathway forward is intellectual strategy type thinking, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was just more like, I need to succeed. That's a lot more important to me.
Yeah.
And the competition is really tough in Hollywood.
Do you still have that desire to go back?
Yeah, I'm trying that right now. I'm trying to sign on with a modeling agency, and I'm doing that right now.
Good for you.
That's
all right,
cool.
that's going to be fun.
Good luck.
All right. We'll see how that plays. So now I want to dive in a little bit more. I mean, obviously, I want to talk Eugene a little bit, and we'll get to it. We want to talk about the One Way Summit a little bit. Talk about what you consider to be a fundable company. Love to dive into that for the startups who are in our audience. But I got to ask about this wave of agentic first.
Yeah.
Can we start there? Okay,
Yeah,
can we start there?
in.
All right, so class is in session. Let me be completely honest. I'm surrounded by this. I'm surrounded by brilliant people who are talking about the agentic. We had Inmar Novick yesterday at Stack. We talked about what does it look to have a great company, what's infundable. He's with Recursive Ventures, and he's talking about building agents. And I'm just sitting there nodding, asking questions, and realizing, okay, I need to dive into this. I need to get started. So for those who are in our audience and me, and when I say my audience, I mean me. For those of us in our audience and Brian, who are still in the starting blocks, what are we getting into when it comes to agentic? Like, what is that very basic entry level of understanding?
I think that's a good question, Brian.
Good place to start?
I mean, for some of us, yeah. I think there's some people who think that's going to be sort of rudimentary, but for some of us, I think it's important.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me...
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Let me flop that out there real quick. So where do we start with that?
I think we need to start with a mental model.
Mm-hmm.
So we're now going through a ChatGPT moment in 2026, understanding that now we can build an application layer so powerful, so efficient, that we can have executive assistants doing work for us while we're not doing work.
Mm-hmm.
And it is work to get there. It is work to get there securely. It is work to understand the use cases. But we're getting from the models that are pure intelligence that can help us think, sort of help us brainstorm, give ideas, predict tokens, understand patterns, to building it's called orchestration layer, but in fact it's like a system that helps you build agents to do some things in software and actually in the physical world too with robotics.
So let me just kind of summarize this. And then, of course, Eugene and Irina, I want you to chime in. That was a great starting place. I think what most people know right now is there's Google. You type something in, it kicks out some information, and then you follow that, that link to another location. Then there's the agentic layer where you can ask questions. It will answer, give you some information, stop. And then you can add to it. You can have this back and forth. What I'm hearing is you can prompt, much like Google or ChatGPT, but it keeps gathering. It will keep running. And it almost acts like this continuous information gatherer and brings back more information.
You define workflows, just a little comment. You define workflows, you give the instructions, and then this agent calls multiple LLMs or the same LLM multiple times to work on your instructions. That's what agents are.
Okay.
And they're fairly autonomous.
Oh,
so
where
that's
did? Sorry, hold on, Irina. There
Yeah.
you go. I
Okay,
had
can you
you
hear
shut
me
off. Yeah, go ahead.
So I was working at Apple. I was working on the Gen AI platform for channel sales and operations, which is the largest revenue channel within Apple. And I am a platform engineer by training, and in the last 10 years, that's what I've done. And essentially, the agentic, the whole idea of agents is that it's automating work that previously humans used to do by following workflows, but it is programming your autonomous kind of interns, if you will, because they will make mistakes. You cannot assume that they're going to do high competent kind of work. So you do have to check on them, but you can program them and they will be completely autonomous. You give them a task and they simply execute on it. And so the big challenges are within an enterprise especially are access and controls and security to ensure that these agents are not going to go rogue on you, because they are intern grade automated systems. But they will actually stay within their lanes, and you can also tweak the level of, sophistication, but level of flexibility that the agent has over doing a certain task. But the really important thing is ensuring that they don't go rogue and they don't.
Yeah.
So do they default to, and Eugene, I want you to chime in on this. Do they default to a narrow task? Say, for example, I get on there, I go, okay, I just got done talking to Eugene and Anna and Irina. I'm going to go create an agent. And I get on Claude, for example.
Yep.
Claude is not a sponsor of the show, but I'm just saying, if I create an agent, is it going to, and I say, hey, go create an email to all my contacts in my LinkedIn connections or whatever. Is it going to go and do just that? Or next thing you know, my Claude's taking over the world?
Well, you can basically have it ask you additional questions and ask you, like, do you want just LinkedIn, or do you want me to also post on your Twitter account, or do you want me to post on your Facebook, and kind of expand. It just depends how much access you're giving it to some extent. I was actually a whole Sunday pretty much spent on creating agents for automating some of my work.
Yeah, people are going down the rabbit hole with this.
Yeah, I was reaching the limits of the tokens available.
What platform did you use?
Cloud Code. So Cloud Cowork, actually.
Yeah.
And like the executive assistant, I built the actual executive assistant and on Claude. And what's cool is that you kind of start with like really thinking about what your goals are overall and what your priorities are. And when you start like, okay, here are my priorities. They're not priorities for today. They're priorities over, let's say, quarter, year, or whatever. This is my priorities overall. This is what I need to focus on for the next period of time.
Now, I think a lot of people will think that they got to go in there and just type in from end to end everything that's necessary to build this agent. But you can start off just by saying in Claude, because I just created an account today. I can pretty much go in there and say, hey, I'd like to build an agent. Can you help me with this? And there'll be a conversation between you and the platform. Is that correct?
Correct. So my executive assistant basically runs 8 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., and it's connected to my Gmail calendar and everything. It basically looks at the emails, creates priorities based on the stuff that I need to focus on, and then checks. It's like, oh, you've done that. Good job. And it basically runs it through the day, and then the next morning repeats based on the new stuff that came in.
All right. You look like you chime
Yeah,
in.
I am working right now with OpenClaw and testing this platform instead of Claude for now. Why? Because it got so much attention and a real amazing adoption and so much energy. And what it provides is providing this sort of system that lets you choose the UI that you want to, talk to your agents. You can build multiple agents. You can secure this in a clean new machine so that it doesn't have access to your accounts at first, while you, understanding how
It's
it
your
works.
sandbox.
It's your sandbox.
Did
That's
you air
right.
gap it from the network?
It is on the network, but it
Is it on
has
the same
separate
network?
accounts.
Okay, or is it on
It has
like
a separate
guest
IP
network?
address. It has a separate IP address, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would suggest having a guest network where it has no access to the network.
Separate network, but it's a clean machine. And there are three lenses that I'm thinking about. First is why you need it, like what exactly you want to build, what do you want to automate. And another mental model can be, if I had an executive assistant, how would I ask assistant, to Irina's point, what would be the instructions exactly?
Right.
Then access to your accounts. I started with giving access to agents' own accounts. It's a new Gmail, it's a new Chrome account, it's new everything basically.
So you start, okay, I've heard this. Again, I'll play the voice of the beginner. I'm not really playing, I'm actually a beginner. And so I've heard that some people can just start on a computer and go. Like today I just opened a Claude account, okay? But there are then those who say, no, go get yourself a Mac Mini and create a separate world. What do you suggest? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, there are other tools that, like for example, Manus AI is a great tool that you don't need your own machine. It can build agents easily, runs inside the Manus virtual environment and things like that, which is kind of cool.
Another virtual machine.
Yeah,
But
virtual
I think
machine is really.
I think virtual machine
usually
is
the
the
But
case.
yeah, I
easiest
think
way
the
to go.
question that's being asked here that we were told about is that if you're building a virtual machine on your primary laptop, let's say, or desktop, that there could be leakage, or that there could be a lack of security, that the information that the AI is collecting or that the agent is collecting could gather information also from your machine or be hacked and send information about your bank accounts and so forth out into the world.
Yeah.
So we're talking about like a virtual machine outside of your computer. I'm talking about like in a
Yeah, got it.
In the
somewhere else.
virtualization environment.
Okay. And you can do that from your own computer, or you could do it from a brand new computer, essentially.
So the brand new computer is for like Claude Code.
Right. I went with a brand new computer because I don't want to have the risks that Brian was talking about at the very beginning. And the process of installation was actually pretty hands-on, actually, I'm sorry. It took like 6 hours from the beginning to end. And the majority
And
of
what
time,
kind of machine did you get, by the way?
Mac Mini,
But like,
Yeah.
how beefed up?
how beefed up.
You can't beef up a Mac Mini that much.
RAM.
Yeah, but they top you out at like. I mean, they don't give you that much. It's a Mac Mini. It's meant to be an inexpensive machine.
Yeah, pretty standard. But the thing is that the majority of time I was spending on like understanding the security risks that Brian was talking about. What if I give access to the new Chrome account and then to this API addresses of certain products that I want it to write something to like call my calendar or something?
Yeah.
What will happen? How do I understand this risk exactly? How can I mitigate those risks? And I'm not yet talking about prompt injections that actually Brian was talking about. That comes as a separate risk pillar.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about.
I'm sorry, I went on to Apple and
You already bought a Mac Mini?
I didn't buy one yet. They're out of stock apparently.
Hey,
No,
it's
I'm
great
totally
for
kidding.
Apple.
I'm totally kidding.
Very
But,
happy about all of this happening right now.
To Eugene's point, you can get 64 gigabytes, which is not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about security. I mean, I think a lot of people go, okay, all right, I can create this sandbox. I got my Mac Mini, or I'm building it from, whatever platform I choose. I'm going to give it a command to go through my emails and create email responses. But at the same time, how do I keep parameters on? How do I keep safeguards on that?
I feel like you invited these people here today to just teach you how to
Brian, I said that from
your
the
own
beginning.
agent. Is that what's happening here? Is that today's show? Is just a tutorial for you?
So Anthropic, for example, which is Claude, it does not allow to send emails. So it actually puts into your draft folder.
Okay.
So it has, Claude definitely has a lot more limitations that are safeguards to some extent from it going rogue.
Okay. Good. Brian, don't forget the fairies too.
Oh gosh, that's probably now. You want to do that right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, man. That's
Hang tight, all. Hang tight. You'll have fun with this. All right.
Okay, so you know what we're talking about today, of course, right? We're talking about talent.
We're talking about
HR, human resources. We're talking about acquiring the talent that you want for your business. You want to hire the best.
You do.
Obviously, every single time. And you'll do whatever you can to get the best talent onto your team. Yeah. Wouldn't you agree?
I absolutely agree.
And so I'm suggesting right now, right here, that you go to moraleshr.com. You want to know why? Because, yes, you do, Brian.
Yes.
You want to go to Morales HR because it's a human-centered recruiting and executive search firm, and it's built for today's business demands. You get full-time or contract roles. You can avoid fake resumes and fake candidates. You get the very, very best of everything you possibly want when it comes to recruiting and hiring the best damn talent you can find on the planet. And this is moraleshr.com. We love Shelley.
We love Shelley.
Right?
Yes.
We love Morales HR.
Talent. We love
and they are a sponsor of this show, and rightfully so, because they align with who we are and what we believe in.
Brian, well done.
Thank you very much.
All right. And there goes the fairy right out the door. All right.
I'll remember next time. I was so engrossed in this conversation, I completely forgot.
Well, Eugene and Anna and Irina all looked at us like, what's happening right now?
Who's the fairy? Yeah.
It was amusing.
Yeah. All right. So,
Oh, that's good.
We got one more coming. So there'll be another fairy coming through here. All right. So we're talking about, again, introductory understanding of building your own agent. And yes, Brian, I am asking for myself because I am...
a friend.
Or a friend.
Yeah.
And you and our listeners. I'm jumping on board, and I'm willing to be vulnerable to say, hey, I don't even know where to begin. I bring in some brilliant people who speak at a high level on this stuff, and I want to get there. So that's where we're at right now. Go ahead, Brian.
I love it. I'm all in. Because I'm in the same place, and I think a lot of people are in the same place. I think there's business owners and individuals and a bunch of lay people, if you will, right, who are technologically available for this stuff, but they just haven't learned how to do it yet. It's these brainiacs that are on the cutting edge.
Yeah. So here's a question I have. Other than re-listening to this show and getting some basic insights and that introductory conversation on where to begin, where do you suggest? I'm going to ask all three of you this, and if you disagree, that's great. We love kicking the hornet's nest. Once this show is done and once they've listened a few times, where do people go to learn? Where do they go to feel safe? Where do they go to get advice? And they may just want to open up their computer. They may want to open up YouTube, TikTok, whatever they do. Where would you suggest that they go to learn? I
think to the companies that create the software.
Really?
Yeah.
So like Claude, like we talked about Claude a little bit.
And also there's a platform called Cerebral Valley. It's a newsletter. And
say it one more time, the name?
cerebralvalley.ai. It's a really great platform because, it's both a newsletter and a web resource, and it very much compiles together, aggregates all of the events that are happening in Silicon Valley, primarily in San Francisco, but all over Silicon Valley. And you can find workshops that teach you literally absolutely everything, and most of those are free.
These are in-person events as well as online links that people can go and just explore it, right? That's what you're suggesting.
Yeah, and honestly, like I've gone to so many agentic workshops there. They have them at Microsoft, Incubator Space, all the big companies, essentially, the big really like things. And then startups host their own. That's right. But LLM companies are invested into getting people kind of locked in with their LLM, and so they also provide the training.
Okay. Anna, what would you say?
I would highlight two things. First, companies, for sure. I'm joining different hackathons at Google, Weights and Biases, some other companies. I know that OpenClaw has different hackathons either with companies or under their own foundation, and that's where builders meet up and discuss security. This is one. And by the way, in those places, you can learn more about like Google Workspace that has those agents out of the box, and you don't need really like so much effort to set it up. Claude Code, of course, but Google is like the competitor in this space as well. And the second venue, I'm going after product leaders of that space. So the two names that I want to highlight is Marilyn Nika. She's a Google PM as well. I think I'm biased. And she has been sort of posting, and she has courses, classes, and different books on agentic AI and how she sets up her own personal agents. And by the way, we haven't even touched yet enterprise agentic AI, which is a whole big market. And the second name that I would highlight is Claire Vo. They just released an amazing podcast with Lenny Rachinsky on how to install OpenClaw and sort of like having those guidances and guardrails for security in mind. I really encourage you to look at it.
I love it.
So my argument told that it's not for the beginners. None of this is for the beginners. I mean, to some extent, this is more like, oh, I know kind of what I'm doing and I just want to learn and get deeper into things. I've been using just YouTube realistically. And then what the companies don't teach you, like if you go, for example, to the Anthropic classes, like you're saying, they're not teaching you to like hack little things, which Reddit has actually been pretty cool at. Like people like, oh, I need Claude to actually have an email agent that will actually email me out of it. So, oh, here's the thing that I use. This is what I build, blah, blah, blah. And then here's the repository and things like that. So this is kind of makes it easier. And the YouTube, because you can rewatch it multiple times and it kind of gives you kind of, okay, do this. And
Completely agree.
Like this is where I started learning. Like I built the first, the first thing that I built was the EA for myself. And it was basically just watching the YouTube how to build an EA. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I also need blah, blah, blah. This is not enough. This is what else I want to do. Oh, I wanted to also Slack me. So Slack integration, boom. So it's pretty cool. And some of the more complex things that I've had to do is like create integrations that were not out of the box into like CRM, for example, that we're using. That took longer, but it's doable.
This is perfect. I like this because, again, I think a lot of people who have no clue what's going on, they're going to go, can I watch something to get me started on YouTube? That's great advice. Or they can go watch shorts on Instagram. And then the progression of who to kind of start following to get a person, right? To get familiar with.
That's the rabbit hole.
Yeah. And
that's the rabbit hole.
Warning to all my listeners, you are going to find yourself going down the rabbit hole. So
viewer discretion is advised.
So great insight. I think, Anna, you had something on the tip of your tongue?
Looking at YouTube videos, I did for sure. And also just working with your ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, because it has an amazing...
Just ask the robots how to use the robots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I spent, I don't know how many hours.
It was Claude. You just say, build me a skill that does blah, 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 blah. And it says, oh, do you want the skill to do this and this and this?
And maybe this is even better because there are like skills marketplaces, and we really need to be very careful about that because some of the skills, they have malicious code in it. And now like those platforms, they do much better job in scanning those skills. But skills is an important part of this like whole, system.
I think Anthropic has a skill to check the skills for the malicious code.
AI for security.
So what you're saying,
but who checks Anthropic then? I mean, where do you go next? Hey, just quickly, is it Clairvo who does How I AI,
That's right.
the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to show that on the screen real quick.
Okay, for those of you who are watching now on YouTube, you can see what Brian's pulling up, so you can definitely check that out.
Right, she's on YouTube. She's got a thing that looks great. I mean, her website also is super clean and simple. I mean, she seems like somebody who can really break it down. So I just wanted to bring her to people's attention.
So the point being, the reason I'm kind of, and I know even for our guests, and even those who are listening right now, Brian Sparks has a tendency to kind of jump all over the place, but I still want to be able to jump around for the purpose of providing multiple perspectives on an issue. And so again,
Before you do that, Brian,
yeah, we'll come back
don't
to
lose
it.
your train of thought, though, will you?
No, definitely.
You remember where you're going?
I will, but
Okay.
nonetheless.
I figure I was late on the first one.
Yeah, well, I definitely want to remind everybody, check out Stack Ventures. Stack Ventures is transforming real estate into full stack ecosystem solutions for East Bay residency and global startups, backed by Baring Capital. Located in the heart of uptown Oakland at 1900 Broadway and 1950 Franklin. Stack Space has 2 towers. Actually 3 now, Brian.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, 3.
3 is better than 2.
Yeah, 3 with a brand new data center. More to follow on that. But with 1.5 million square feet of luxury living, event space, resort-style amenities, EV mobility, and yes, we are a Tesla RoboHub, which is very amazing. Office space and access to the biggest startup community in the Bay Area. Check out stackspace.com. That's STAK, stackspace.com, and Stack Ventures.
Brian, I'd like to know, what is a
Robotaxi?
robotaxi? Oh,
Yeah,
you
what'd I
said
say?
I'm not
Yes,
sure.
he did say robotaxi.
Did he say robotaxi?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at the tape. I thought
Actually,
you said
I've been to
robo hub
Stack.
or robo center or something.
Wait, Brian. Go ahead.
I've
Go
been
on.
to Stack, and I didn't know about this thing that you talked about, robotaxi or robo, whatever,
Yeah.
Tesla something. So
Yeah,
tell us.
there's probably 50 to 60. We're earmarking actually probably about 100, but right now there's 50 or 60 Teslas in our garage, and you can ask for one anywhere in the Bay Area, and it will come to you.
Wow.
They're still
That's really
chaperoned.
cool.
Footnote: they're still chaperoned, but they're
amazing.
much like Waymo.
And if you live or work at Stack in Oakland, you also can subscribe and just drive one of the Teslas that are there in the garage. Like they have a garage full of Teslas that
That's
you can
cool.
go in and just
Yeah.
take for an hourly fee.
It's like a ride share.
It's like a ride share, but they've just got a garage full of Teslas. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
They've come up with some really innovative solutions for how to live simply in a complex world.
Yeah, and
that should be their tag.
And we've had the CEO of Baring Capital, Colin Baring, on the show.
Great dude.
So check out that episode. I think it was about a year ago that he was
Yeah.
on the show, but great guy, great company,
Totally.
beautiful building, 3 buildings, beautiful. Check it out. Go to stackspace.com.
All right, we're moving on. I'm going to give you the harp again to get it. We're going to move out of that, and you're going to go back to where you were saying.
What was I talking
Oh,
about?
don't do that. You said I like to be all over the place. I'm kind of scattered, and
New
in that.
topic.
Okay, all right. So
It's the gum. That
Yeah,
I'm
where's my
convinced
gum?
it's
Right,
the
your
gum.
gum's wearing off. You need some more gum, dude.
no, but I to my audience and to my guests, I'm looking for multiple perspectives on this issue so that you can start to fill in the blanks yourself as listeners where you want to go with this. So sorry if I've kind of pulled you all around all over the place, but really, speaking of Stack Ventures and OpenClaw, we are building a community of OpenClaw at Stack. So I think if you're getting into this, get into a community. Learn from different people. Go to events. Read stuff. Study it. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be necessary. We just came back, like I said earlier, I just came back from Transform. Big fear in terms of what jobs are going to be lost, gained, taken over. And I don't think so much jobs are going to be lost. They're just going to be replaced with people who know how to do this stuff. Yeah. That's going to be my honest opinion, because there's going to always be a human in the loop. As far as we can see now, as fast as things are moving, there's always going to be a human in the loop. You need to put yourself in that loop. That should be the fear. If you don't choose to put yourself in the loop of what's going on, then it's much like in the 90s, and for those of you who are Gen Xers and kind of grew up in that space, imagine not learning what the internet was, or not learning what mobile was, or not learning what these advancing technologies were, and look back on how people kind of got left behind. So think of that. Yes. Begin to think of this dawn of the agentic era as the same thing. Just start learning. Just start learning. So that's my advice. To the community piece, I definitely want to tap into this. Eugene, you're doing the One Way Summit.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your drive for building community, particularly in the space of immigrants who are founders and investors. You've got a full house of people who've immigrated to the U.S., got a ton of listeners, and I'm all here for it. So talk a little bit about what got you on your way to the One Way Summit.
Yeah. So it's been on my mind to kind of bring the spotlight and like bring like immigrant entrepreneurship into like the forefront and kind of show like, oh, immigrant entrepreneurs actually create a lot of value and actually if you look at the today at AI companies, 65% of AI companies are founded by immigrants. If you look at unicorn companies, currently 55% of those companies are started by immigrants. So you could clearly see that they're creating a lot of value from the economic and also creation jobs and all those things in the United States. And I don't think there's a lot of spotlight on that. So as I was thinking of like, how do we create the biggest impact? And that's where the whole idea of creating the conference, and I've been thinking about it for like 3 years, and was the whole rhetoric by the current administration on immigration. I was like, okay, this is the best time, because I think a lot of immigrants or people who are thinking of immigrating are starting to think, is US still the place that welcomes us? Or is this the place to build a company? And I wanted to bring a conference where there's going to be successful founders that are speaking about their success, their story. So last year we had the founder of Slack, founder of Lyft, the founder of Branch.io. We had VCs from Khosla. We had VCs from many other firms. Like really talk about the whole their journey, but also like the immigrant entrepreneurship and everything that has to do with building companies. And this year we're kind of taking it even further by having 2 stages. We're going to have a pitch competition by partnering with different communities. We're going to have the main stage is going to have content and all those things. And it's going to be in San Francisco, October 28th and 29th at Commonwealth Club. So it's going to be quite exciting.
Are we all invited?
Yeah, of
Great.
course.
Scored an invite.
Yeah, we actually have a website. It's called onewaysummit.org. And it's going to be, we're launching actually the site next week.
Nice. Brian's probably going to pull up last year's,
because he says it's not launching until next week.
Well,
is that what I just heard?
Yeah, you can look up 2025.
Yeah, but we already have some amazing speakers confirmed. We have a founder of Duolingo, founder of Fastly, founder of Udemy, and a few others that have already confirmed.
Yeah, I love that messaging in terms of this. I still believe the U.S. is one of the best places to build. And despite the narratives that are flying all around, having this this narrative, like say, no, you can still build some remarkable communities, remarkable businesses, whatever you want to build. I think the dream is still there. And so I love what you guys are doing. So I'm all in and supporting you however I can support the event. And I think we're going to see you next week at the Femigrants event summit.
No, I'm actually going to be traveling.
You're going to be out of town. Oh, okay.
But I think you might be actually moderating one of the things, right?
I'm the host. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Or MC. Sorry, the
MC.
host.
You want to do the MC?
I'm the MC. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm also MC for, and along with AJ Thomas, the IIT conference. So
nice, dude.
Super excited about that to again be a voice.
Can I say badass on the radio?
Yes, you can, Marianne Becker. But being a voice for diversity and immigration, I love this. So however I can support what you guys are doing.
So if you want to be the MC, we should chat about that for our conference.
Say less. I'm there. All right. So I definitely, as we start to kind of wind down, I definitely want to make sure that you guys get an opportunity to really continue to share your message. And I want to ask you, what's next for you? And, we talked a little bit about, agentic, but where's your heart right now? What is it you love about this ecosystem and what you're doing these days? That should have been my first question, but here we are.
My heart is in 3 places, actually. Yeah. First is enterprise agentic AI. That's my work. That's where I look at research, speaking to customers, understanding their pains, like what they need in those, automations, what needs to be done. Second, personal assistants. I want to get better. I want to build more of them. I want to get to the point where it's not only automation of the household things and logistics. My partner, my husband, and I were doing a pretty good job at it already, but I want to like go to the economic
Automate-
value.
automate
I
your
want
whole
to
life.
build something.
Automate your
behalf
whole
of the-
life.
On
maybe
behalf of the
bring
households, I'd like to say that we'd like you to get better at that too.
Maybe
I need to
economic
automate
value,
a
like
vacation.
diversify some income, like things like this, like
Yeah.
maybe MVPs of our crazy ideas, things like this with agents. And the third place that I'm really thinking about is AI evaluation and agentic evaluation from the perspective of like iterating those systems and making them better. How we build evaluations, how we build this stack of testing suites, how we understand the analytics around it, how we make them better.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd, as I said, and so I really take a deeper dive into data when I have it.
So how can people connect with you, and what does that look like if I said, hey, I love what you're saying, I'd love to work with you? What does that look like?
You can find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LinkedIn. So you hear that here, connect with Anna on LinkedIn. And then this is your company, or you're partnered with somebody else? Like, what does that look like?
I just work in a corporate setting.
Yeah, in the corporate side. That's why you like the corporate
Yeah,
side
yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Irina, same question. What's next for you? I mean, we're assuming it's not entirely being an actress, but you have other things going on. So real quick, what is it that you love about playing in this sandbox, and what's next for you?
Yeah, great question. So for me, I can't speak to the corporations that I worked for because I need to be media trained, and I technically am not, but I can speak on behalf of me. So my big push has been towards unleashing my own creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever is needed there, I am working on that. So I kind of have the same way I've transitioned from an actress to an Apple engineer. I have the same kind of approach to unleashing my creativity because I wanted to be an actress, so that is definitely like creativity is strong, like the force is strong, creativity is strong
with this one, yeah.
But I kind of put it on the back burner because it's Silicon Valley, like I was kind of a trailblazer, same as my mom. That was my identity. Now I'm shifting that identity because I'm also realizing, the world is changing very quickly, and creatives are going to be the ones that will see new patterns emerge and will connect worlds that have never connected before. And so I'm kind of rediscovering my old identity. And I am looking to build those bridges. So whatever form and shape that comes in, starting a company, maybe trying on acting professionally, or when it comes to agentic or automation in general, I was an automation engineer in the corporate world. So I am automating my life essentially. So I can literally nowadays Sam Altman, I think, is the one who's really pushing towards ensuring that there are one-person billion-dollar companies. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'll build that.
That could be you. I love it. And of course, before, I love all those answers, those insights of what you guys are working on. And of course, a lot of our audience is, our founders. And so, Eugene, I have to ask you, because they're all waiting for this. You have One Way Ventures.
Yep.
This may seem like a leap, but I still got to ask it. What, in your eyes, looks like a fundable company?
I think the first thing would be probably you have the right team, which can build the products, and second, also go to market. And today, go to market is kind of the most important aspect of any company, because the moat that we had before is like, I have these things that I have data or whatever, is now less important. It's more important, can you build a product that can go to market fast, gain traction, and secure those contracts.
Now, what's unique about you and your firm is you've sat on both sides of the table.
Yeah.
You're a founder, and now you're an investor. What do the motions look like? And if either of you want to chime in on this, with agentic now and things moving so fast, what does it look like to go to market at speed? What are some of those motions?
I think is the first thing, which is what you're doing, is understanding the customers and actually figuring out their pains before you actually start building the products, because building the product is no longer a problem. It's really understanding what is the actual pain point for any whoever you're building it for, whether it's a consumer, if it's enterprise, you need to understand what is the pain and can they fix that pain themselves really quickly, or you can actually build a product around it where it's their pain, but you can't just focus on one client. You need to like kind of talk to many decision makers, and if they have the same pain point, you basically like, okay, I can solve this for them, and you start building the product. But start with customer and understanding pain. I mean, my previous company, it was almost an accident that we found the pain. We thought that the pain was that basically public Wi-Fi was insecure. That was the pain that we thought we wanted to solve. We created a product called Hotspot Shield. We launched it, and then the pain ended up being there's censorship all over the world, and people want to bypass censorship and get access to content, speak their mind, get access to Facebook, Twitter, whatever, and that was the actual pain. Yes, the pain of cybersecurity was still a pain, but in comparison to the rest of the world, the pain of like not being able to access freely the internet was much bigger pain.
Yeah.
So that became kind of the mission of the company, is to solve the democracy of the internet around the world.
So, and you're shaking your head over there. You're at the intersection of this. And I want to say loud and clear to our audiences who are probably coming up with great ideas through the agentic, experience. Having a good idea is not discovering the pain. It's not. Correct. It's not coming up with a good idea and going, all right, someone's going to want this, and then going to market, looking for something to solve. You need to start with that in mind. So in your experience, Anna, when you have these great innovation and go to market come together, what are some of the things that you've experienced and seen that are effective to get this kind of traction that Eugene's talking about?
Well, it's a big question and very, very important. So I would say that now you can definitely wipe code so many things and go to the MVP. But if you do this really well, and then you show it to your customers, and you have this go-to-market with your customers. And now I'm thinking through the perspective of startups, not the corporate setting that I'm in, but the startups. And then they see it's working in their environment, with their context, with their teams. And then for some reason you take it away and they're like, oh, no, I won't. That means that there is some product market fit. In case the market is actually big, and you need to understand how many customers like this are out there.
Ooh, that's I've never heard it put that way before. It's if you give it to them and you quickly remove it, is there a vacuum? Yeah. Oh, I like that.
They see the value.
Yeah. And so you're saying it's a little bit different from your perspective working with corporates. Give your perspective on how you tackle this.
Well, I'm also not representing my company, though I really love it, and my team is amazing, Omnissa. But in the corporate setting, actually, it's pretty much similar, because I'm really the voice of the customer. I really need to understand how the products that are developed are integrated in their systems, how much value they bring in terms of saving time, saving money, securing their workflows, securing their access to applications, and so what is not working. So maybe it has more context to it, but still a lot of innovation possible, especially with AI and automation.
Yeah, and this is, I think, good for our audience who, again, a majority of them are startups, and then the second bucket, what I think would be investors. We do have the corporate side, and I think it's important for startups to hear this, because a lot of times they will, for example, if you're going through Plug and Play, they have these corporate partnerships. Understand how you look at this. I think, does it play if startups are looking for corporate partnerships? Do they need to know that the way you look at going to market or customer fit, are these insightful to these startups?
Well, I think it is, because I talk to different third-party vendors and startups in the space of Gen AI, agentic AI evaluations, and they really want to understand like how big companies think of trust and security to AI products. And that's a huge lens for the corporate world. You can look at the data from Salesforce, one of the agentic leaders, ServiceNow, Google, Anthropic, and how they view those security practices. And this lens is really very important. And so I see that startups who are like after this, they getting good traction. Of course, the leaders, not all, but yeah.
I love it. I mean, a lot of great information kicked around here. And again, I love just kind of going with the flow. But I got to ask, anyone got any books coming out? I mean, sometimes we have to.
I did meet a guest book writer who's written a book for one of the dating app founders. So apparently there's a whole industry about that. Like there's a whole industry around that. So all these famous people.
Ghostwriters.
Hire ghostwriters. So.
Well, we never know what we're going to learn about our guests here. I just got to always ask, oh yeah, we got a book coming out or something. So maybe one of you three are written about. Just asking, just a shot in the dark. Brian, any questions on the tip of your tongue? To kind of
no.
I see you're doing your research over there.
Well, I heard you move to your closing questions, and I was thinking that
what's next? Yeah.
How do we get in touch with you and stuff? And then you kind of went off into a different direction. So I'm just like at the ready. But I'm following your lead.
But not so yet, Brian. But I definitely want to ask, how can people connect with you? And Irina, I'll start with you and then come back this way. How can people connect with you?
Yeah, the best way to connect is LinkedIn for sure. I post all of my public engagements usually through LinkedIn.
You do a lot of public speaking?
Like in the past, not a lot, but I've moderated panels and I've spoken at some women in tech conferences. I've mentored women in tech a lot inside of Gap. I actually created or was on the steering committee of our early career hiring program, Gap for early career engineers. And it was a huge success.
Nice.
We had.
So you do a little public facing, moderating and speaking.
Yeah, it comes so naturally to me. You know, it's like something that I've done naturally, just for fun since I was 6 years old.
Well, let us know next time you're doing an event. We'll
maybe I'll write a book and I will.
There you go.
Loop you in.
All right. Anna, next. I think you said people connect with you on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. I'm also a part of the Women Defining AI community. It's a vibrant community on Slack, and they have meetups, and we do some, the founders, they do courses, and we do demos. I demoed one of my agents there. So like things like this, communities focusing on AI.
Okay. You're in the peninsula, right?
I am.
Okay. All right. Stack is trying to establish a larger women's group. So if you ever want to come over there and run one of your communities, happy to do that. I think you were over there was it last week?
Yeah.
You were there? Okay. Last week we did one. So I'd love to have you both over there.
Thank you.
Eugene, how can people connect with you and learn a little bit more about One Way Summit?
Yeah, it's same way. I'm on LinkedIn. We're also going to obviously post on LinkedIn. The onewaysummit.org is going to be the website where it's going to get launched on. Right now, there's a site for last year's summit to kind of see what it was about. But we're about to launch there as well. And LinkedIn is the best way probably to connect.
Perfect. And these are definitely people you want to follow up with. Connect them on LinkedIn. Listen to the show. But Brian, I think we pretty much touched on everything we want to do today.
Great. Fantastic. Good for us.
Yeah. Welcome back, Brian. Let's keep the ball rolling.
Thank you, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe and like and tell your friends. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Thanks for being here today.
All right. We'll see you all next week. Stay safe. Have fun.